Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is speaking to James Campbell, the Managing Director of Botswana Diamonds, an exploration and development company that is listed in London on the AIM and also on the Botswana Stock Exchange. James, how many exploration projects does Botswana Diamonds have underway at the moment?
Botswana Diamonds has a portfolio of projects spanning South Africa, Botswana, and emerging interests in Zimbabwe. And why an exploration company should have a portfolio is that it's often like finding a needle in a haystack. So as you do more and more work on different projects, projects tend to fail. There are 6,000 kimberlites in the world, of which 600 have diamonds, of which 60 have been or are mines. In South Africa, we've got a joint venture with Vitomi Mining Pty Limited, where we're active on many kimberlite projects. In Botswana, we have a joint venture with Diamexstrat Botswana and the Australian listed Burgundy Diamond Mines. And in Zimbabwe, we are looking at our own work, but also we have a joint venture with Vast Resources. And at any one point in time, we're probably active on one or two projects, as we can't afford to be active on all the projects all of the time.
So what is the most encouraging result that Botswana Diamonds has had to date from its exploration efforts?
There are two major areas which we are looking at the moment. The first one is in our Thorny River prospect, which is about 50 kilometers east of Mokopane in the Limpopo province of South Africa. The Thorny River prospect is on the Klipspringer Marsfontein kimberlite field. Marsfontein had the fastest payback of any mine in history, being 3.5 days. Marsfontein essentially is a 0.4 hectare blow on a kimberlite dike. Very, very small, but was extremely profitable for the then shareholders at the time, being De Beers and Southern Era. And our exploration work in that area has focused very much on finding another Marsfontein. Where that's led us over the last 3 or 4 years is on two blows that we've discovered on the Thorny River area, of which we've undertaken very detailed geophysics and drilling, and of which there is further drilling to be done and bulk sampling. So our focus in South Africa is very much on that project, whereas in Botswana, our focus is very much on grassroots diamond exploration discovery, chiefly in the Kalahari Desert of that country, where we are joint ventured with Diamexstrat and Burgundy Diamond Mining of Australia.
When do you think you'll form up a resource, say, at Thorny River?
It's a slightly complicated question in that the development of a resource obviously depends on positive exploration results. And so far, we've had those positive exploration results. But for a junior like us, and you mentioned at the very beginning, we are listed on the London AIM market and the Botswana Stock Exchange. It's about being able to raise sufficient funds at a fair price and without too much dilution of your founding shareholders to progress your work. So on the one hand, you've got the work requirements. And if one was a large corporate, yes, you could get this done possibly much, much quicker. And on the other hand, you have your funding requirements where you have to try and raise money at successively higher share prices so you can fund your exploration work. So what that means in practice is that we do campaign development. The next phase of work, which we said we will do, is to complete the sample treatment of those samples which we drilled earlier in the new year. We expect those results by the end of July. And then following that, we'll do the next phase of drilling in August before the wet season. And if those results are positive, we would like to move towards bulk sampling. And we have a Section 20 authorization, which allows us to do the bulk sampling on this property because you actually need to sell the diamonds in order for you to get a proper diamond price.
So you're actually finding diamonds while you are exploring at Thorny River and you're selling these.
That's correct, Martin. One of the great things about South African legislation, and I know there are many detractors out there at the moment, is you have a provision within a prospecting license called a Section 20, where you can actually sell your diamonds. Now, many people think that's mainly for income purposes, but in fact it isn't, although that's obviously very, very nice. It's actually to get a proper diamond value, because anybody can give you a diamond value if they don't have to sell, if they don't have to buy the diamonds. So there is nothing more accurate than actually selling your diamonds and actually getting that value. And then, of course, you have the option of either going towards a full-scale mining license with your feasibility study and all the permitting around that, or going towards a mining permit, which is for a 5-hectare piece of ground and lasts for a period of 2 years. And again, that's a fairly innovative part of the mining legislation in South Africa.
You put out a note that you got 11 diamonds of good color and clarity.
Those diamonds were actually recovered from very, very small drill samples, which is very unusual in that you don't actually expect to recover diamonds from drill samples. But it means that when we go to bulk sampling, where we will take hundreds of tons, for example, of kimberlite, extract hundreds of tons of kimberlite from the ground and hopefully recover hundreds of carats, that's when we would actually sell them. There's no point in selling the 11 diamonds. It's just very noteworthy that one is recovering diamonds from very small drill samples.
How are you finding the legislation framework in South Africa?
In South Africa, Martin, we've spent just over 20 million rand on our exploration projects, which is a lot of money. But at the stage we are at the moment is we've discovered diamonds, we understand what the grade range is, we understand what the value range is, and we are not too far off declaring our maiden resource at Thorny River.
Are your shareholders satisfied with what they've got so far?
Investors are naturally impatient. And yes, they would like us obviously to find something quicker at a lower price and to go into production quicker. And obviously that's the mandate that I have, is to try and do things as quickly and as cheaply as possible, but also to do them properly as well. Because at the end of the day, we do want something which is sustainable and which does provide quality returns.
What does the quality and the grade look like so far at Thorny River?
The kimberlite in situ grade itself is around about 60 carats per 100 tons, which is high grade for a kimberlite in itself. If you read what other kimberlites are being mined at, they're typically being mined at in the 20s or perhaps a little bit higher. From a diamond value perspective, the last known diamond values were when Klipspringer Diamond Mine was in production, which was about 15 years ago, and those are about $150 a carat. So obviously the market has changed significantly since that time. Small and poorer quality diamonds have dropped in price. Larger and colored stones have actually increased in price. So the diamond value would probably be between $150 and $200 per ton if we were to make a guesstimate on that. So that does give you a very high in situ dollar per ton. But in the Thorny River area, it's all about size. The kimberlite dikes on their own are marginal because it's all about mining and dilution control in those areas. And in order to kickstart a mining operation, you really need to have one of these blows where the kimberlite dike has expanded, like it had at Marsfontein. It expanded by 40 meters from an average of 1 meter. And where we're currently drilling at the moment, we've got expansions of the dike up to about 20 meters, which gives us a great sense of excitement.
Could we conceivably say that in the next 5 years there may be an operation there?
If we continue to tick the boxes from our exploration perspective, I think that kind of timeline is most achievable, yes.
And would there be anything similar in Botswana at the moment that would come through, and Zimbabwe?
Botswana is chiefly around grassroots exploration in the Kalahari. And so so where we're looking obviously for much bigger kimberlites, because we're dealing with Kalahari sand on top of the kimberlite itself, and then you would need a larger kimberlite to be economic. Botswana Diamonds has the KX36 diamond prospect, which we acquired from Sikaka Diamonds, Petra's 100% affiliate last year. And that is, in fact, our maiden resource. And we're looking at innovative ways to further that project, which include, interestingly, in the middle of the Kalahari, using a dredge because of the abundant water sitting at the Kalahari kimberlite interface to move the sand. So the exploration timelines there are a little bit different. In Zimbabwe, we have two areas we're looking at. One is obviously on our own, where we're looking at primary exploration. And then secondly, with our joint venture with VAST, who have claims to some of the prospects within the Marangi diamond field. And who knows when they will be authorized. If they're authorized in the short term, then we'll be bulk sampling and mining in the short term.
What can we expect next?
We are currently processing our drill samples from Thorny River. We were able to get those started before the new lockdown conditions were upon us. So we plan to issue those results by the end of July. We also plan to actually do further drilling on our Thorny River prospect during the course of August going into September. And then in Botswana, we hope to announce the work program with Dimextrat and Burgundy Diamonds in terms of future exploration late August too as well. So those are the kind of three major pieces of news in the next 3 months.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, speaking to James Campbell, the Managing Director of Botswana Diamonds, which is listed on the London AIM and also on the Botswana Stock Exchange.